Hi, it's Ryan from Knights Around the Table, and with me today as a special guest is David. And you're wondering, why do we have David here? You've seen him on the channel before, but why David, did you miss the dress code for today?
I thought we were talking about luthier.
Well, as a matter of fact, they're related. Today we're actually going to be talking about the new cocktails expansion for Distilled. This is a thing that's coming out on Kickstarter very, very shortly. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please look at the description below. We'll have a link to the campaign and you can check it out there. So this cocktails expansion, the reason you're here is because, David, you had something to do with it, I understand. Tell us more.
Yeah, I was a playtester for the original Distilled, working with Dave and working on the Discord with him, and I was also a playtester for the cocktails expansion right from the beginning this time. So I saw it from the very first iterations to the final iteration that we see today.
You were playing Distilled before it was cool. Now, Luthier, if you know, is the other game from Papers and Games, and this Dave that David mentioned, don't get confused. So Dave Beck is the designer and owner of Papers and Games. Paverson has done both of these games. This is their first game, that's their second game, so we're going back. If you want to know how to play either of these games, we're not going to tell you that right now, because you can go to Knights Around a Table channel. There's a how to play Luthier and a how to play Distilled, and they're both usually what I do, chock full of info, and if you want to know, that's where you go. So we're going to skip over that part. What I will tell you though about is a little bit of the pedigree of Distilled, or the iterations of Distilled that we've gone through so far. So this is a game that is about distilling. I almost said brewing, and that's bad. I've been told by Dave not to say brewing. It's not like he's in the background going like whoosh, like he's not here right now like glaring at us like don't you say brewing, but it's distilling because it's a different process. So you've got this big thing called a washback on the side of this distillery that you've inherited from your family, and you're trying to sort of rehabilitate it and to make a really nice product, distilled alcohol, and get it out to the world and sell, and then of course everything devolves into capitalism. So that's the idea. So speaking of capitalism, the expansions. The very first expansion for Distilled was called Africa and the Middle East, and that mostly came with what? Extra drink labels?
Yeah, it added an extra region. So there were 3 regions in the base game. It added a 4th region, Africa and Middle East, and then it came with more of the same.
Right. So
more items, more ingredients, more distillers.
So more of the same, that sounds almost like a pejorative, but it's not. When we talk about expansions, more of the same is a totally legit way to expand your game. Just like, if you like this, well, we got an extra pack of cards that does this. If you like, if you like the idea that you could have your own distiller, I'm going to just pop right in there a little bit tighter, then we're going to put more distillers in here that you can play. Now, this dude is looking quite ready for Halloween. This vampire is one of the new distillers that you can play in the cocktails expansion, so that's what's up with him. So more of the same, not pejorative, but the second expansion was more of the same. So it was called Cask Strength, and then tell us a little bit about what Cask Strength did, because it was the one that I didn't play.
Yeah, Cask Strength is a mini expansion, so just a deck of cards, but what it does is it adds a number of modules that increase the complexity and some of the thinking time in the game. So if you wanted Distilled, but kind of same game, but just kind of cranked up to 11, Cask Strength is that expansion.
And now we come to this, which is not a more of the same expansion by any means. What this is a big expansion, right? There are modular expansions, there are more of the same expansions, and then there's just like, whoa, we're gonna blow the whole thing up. So if you played Distilled and you thought like, oh, there's a nice game, it's a fun game, but I want more. I want more meat, I want more stuff going on, I want more things to think about, then this is the expansion that you'll be most interested in, right? Cocktails. But, of course, with great power comes great responsibility, and with big expansions come the need for more table space. So you're definitely going to need more table space to play this game, and you're definitely going to need more time to play this game. How much time do you think it generally adds to it, depending on player count?
Not too much. I mean, basically there's one extra phase. You're probably looking at maybe 10 minutes per player or something like that.
There you go. So let's dive right into it. So one of the very first things, we should mention, by the way, that not everything you see here will be available, only because this is a prototype. So they're working on getting less, like this is great. This is a cocktail shaker that we'll show you in a second what you use that for. And it's also very thematic, but it's currently printed out on a 3D printer, right? So that's obviously a, prototype. These little things down here, I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you. So these little Renown markers that we're going to show you, and we'll talk about what they do, they're going to be screened, and these are just 3D printed. So you're going to see a couple of things around. Maybe we'll see a card or two that has temporary artwork. So just so you know, this is all temporary. This is all prototype. But this is the first innovation that you're going to notice with this expansion. This is the extra washback. So normally this is where you stack all your ingredients, and then when it's time to make your booze, you scoop all the cards up, shuffle them, take off the top, take off the bottom, because that's a process that they actually do in distilleries when they're making spirits. You take off the head and the tail of the thing, and whatever you're left with, you splay out, and then you go to your little recipe card over here, and like, okay, what did I make? Oh no, I've got fruit sugar, but nothing else, so I made this, and I wanted to make this, and it kind of all depends. It's a little bit of a crapshoot that you can mitigate by putting more ingredients in, and you can spend extra money and extra sort of game time making absolute sure that you make what you're trying to make, right?
Yeah, so in the base of Distilled, the only thing you can do is you can make your 7 spirits. In the game, you will always make 7 spirits. What this gives you is the capability to make more than 7 spirits and make 2 spirits in a round. So by basically filling that washback with another set of water, yeast, and your sugars, you can make an entirely different spirit from that washback, which unlocks all kinds of extra possibilities as far as pushing for a particular region that you might be wanting to go for, or a goal that you have. You can age a spirit in the same round as you sell one, so you don't have to, take the money hit as much. It really unlocks a lot of strategy, and it was something that was play tested in the original game as well, but it was seen as just maybe a little too much for the initial piece. But I
didn't know that we're unlocking lore.
Yeah, I have a few secrets that I can that I'm okay to reveal, certainly. But yeah, it was one of the things that a lot of the playtesters really liked in the initial expansion, and it was one of the first things that was kind of asked about when we heard this was happening. Are we going to get the double washback? And you're getting it. It really does unlock that extra ability to pivot and change and really focus on your strategy.
So it makes you a little bit more flexible, you would say. Yeah,
exactly.
And more powerful, because if you're making 2 things, you're getting more money, you're getting more points at the same time. Now, we keep saying the word unlocked, which is good. Let me bop in just a little bit. That's a bit too tight. So there's this little token that says washback locked, so you can't actually use it right off the bat, but what you actually have to do is there's this little track. Now, I've left out the markers for the other players. We're just going to keep things simple here, but these are the prices to unlock your second washback. You go one by one. So the first time you unlock the washback, you pay your $2. You move your token here, you get a free alcohol, which you can put in either washback. Is that correct? Either washback, no problem. So we go in here, yes, back out. So then when you pay for that, you flip this to washback, unlock, and then you put all your ingredient cards just the same way, right? It needs a grain, it needs at least 1 water, and it needs at least 1 fruit sugar, right? Or not fruit sugar. Yeah, sugar, one kind of sugar. But what happens if you, are you allowed to make 2 of the same thing in both washbacks? Like, can you make whiskey and whiskey?
No, so that's a bit of an extension of the kind of great push your luck feeling that you have, is you need to make 2 different drinks. Otherwise what happens is those, if you make the same drink, it'll combine into one, and you'll only actually get 1 spirit out.
So you wasted the money for unlocking it, you wasted the cards for doing it, right? So you got to make sure that whatever you stick in there is going to make you a completely different thing. It's going to
make you a different thing. And the good thing about it is unlocked means it's unlocked and available for you to use. You don't have to use it.
Right.
So if strategically maybe you just needed the alcohol now, maybe that was a good way to get it.
Oh, I see.
You're able to unlock and use that in a later round. If you're concerned that maybe the market didn't go the way you like, maybe another player kind of blocked you, and maybe you want to use it that second round or that following round.
Now, I will point out, though, that you're not going to want to do that, just unlock it to get the alcohol too much, because the prices, the prices really ramp up. So we got $2 to unlock it the first time, and then after you use it, you have to flip that token back over. It's locked again.
It's locked again.
So you only get to use it that one round that you unlock it for. But then you're paying $4, you're paying $7, $10, and $14. So it really ramps up. So you don't want to do that too much. You don't want to waste your bucks. I'm going to take that right off and reveal. The reason I have this stuck on top of of another secondary washback is just to illustrate the fact that you can just play cocktails, especially your first game. If you're a little bit nervous about introducing too much stuff, you can just play it with the extra washback. So you put this on the table, you put this on the table with the tokens for the players that you're using, and then this up here is, since you've got 2 washbacks, you're going to be making more than 7 spirits, so you have extra places where you can stick your drinky tags. So if we made whiskey, we can go like blazam, right? And now we're earning 4 points for going up here. So that's the deal with this. I'm going to take it all away because now we're going to get into the weeds with the cocktail stuff. Insert music sting there. And when we do that, we're actually going to flip this one over. Let me pop in. Nope, right there. I'm going to flip that over to that side. So now there's stuff we've never seen before. Like, what the heck is that, and what's going on with this? I don't know. Let's take it slowly and explain to the nice people what's going on with all that new stuff. The first thing you're going to notice is that there is a cocktails board straight across this with brand new cards. And one of the things that was impressed upon me when we played it together is stylistic. This had nothing to do with gameplay, and you might not have any patience for this, but I'm a style guy, I'm a theme guy, I'm an art guy. And if Distilled has a style, it's very dingy, it's very bricky, it's very old wood, it's very musty feeling. Like the game kind of looks like a cigar, if you know what I'm saying, right? But then look at that. Like if we get here, now we're getting like splashes of color here. So these are adding a whole lot more vibrancy. And then if we go over to this side, look at all this stuff. These cutesy little, these are almost like emoji looking, tokens over here. And we got some dice. So I think that one thing that the expansion does is it changes the aesthetic of the game dramatically and really livens things up. So if you're wishing for a little bit of color, they found a way through this to introduce that color to the game. In my opinion, in my unprofessional artist opinion, I guess I'm a professional artist technically. I hear Matt Paquette, who is an art director for Paverson, going, "No, he's not. Don't listen to him." So we've got cocktails, and you mentioned that there's an extra phase at the end of a round. That's the cocktail phase. So what's up with the cocktails?
So the cocktails, couple of things. So the cocktails are things that you can purchase in the market phase, in the normal phase of the game.
So just like an item or an ingredient or an upgrade.
Exactly. So and you can see the costs that kind of go across the bottom, and the cocktails are different costs. So thematically, what you're doing is you're distilling your spirits, of course, and you're wanting to put those spirits in the cocktails in order to grow your Renown, grow the profile of your distillery.
So right? I make whiskey, and my whiskey is going to end up in one of these cocktails.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
So what you'll do is you'll look for, and they're all coded to be attached to an appropriate spirit type. So you mentioned whiskey. The whiskey would absolutely be able to be made in that first one because we've got an aged grain there.
So let me zoom in on that just so we know what we're talking about. So right there, there's a symbol. That's for grain. That's for age. So I can only use aged grain spirits in this. Got it. Yeah. Okay, cool. I guess we'll figure that out in a second. Okay, so far so good. Continue. I'm buying it so far. I'm with you.
Each of the card needs a particular ingredient to make, and so there's different kinds of ingredients that typically go into cocktails. We'll take a look at.
Are you talking about these things down here?
Yeah, these things are across the bottom are basically your mixer ingredients or your mixers that you would put into a cocktail. So this needs bitters, and then
what's a bitter? The cherry? The little cup. The little cup.
Yeah,
of bitters.
A little cup of bitters.
This is like
basically
fruit
like
juice?
A shot of.
I don't drink. You'll have to walk me through
fair
this.
Enough. So the cherry basically represents fruit or a garnish, like something you would put in. Like you can actually see in the art there, we've got like we've got some kind of a plant or a sprig. So it would be that.
Got it.
And then this also needs an umbrella. So an umbrella is the mixer that's actually wild. So that can either be substituted for any other mixer, or some drinks like this particular drink need the umbrella to actually be present in the cocktail. And that's because another thing about these is each of these is made in a different glass.
Okay, I'm seeing that here. Yeah, look up at the top right. I'm pretending to not know anything about this game. I have played the game, so just in case Dave's watching going like, didn't we play this game? Yes, we played the game. I'm just, I'm using the platonic method in order to figure this thing out. That's all that's going on. So yeah, so Dave mentioned the or David mentioned the different cup type up here at the top right. So we'll get into what that is, but I just want to point out, so when you buy one of these things in the market phase, notice that obviously, and like most games that have rivers of cards that sort of go into the dumper over here, and I should mention too about the little cocktail discard dumpster pile, is the truck. Let me bring that down so you remember the truck from the base game. That's where discards go for the rest of the market. This is not the truck. So if you have anything that lets you rummage through the truck or pick up something from the truck, you can't do it here, right? The stuff that's sort of like what goes in the discard pile. Now, is there something that lets you necromance something from the cocktail discard?
I don't think so, but you never know.
Right.
There might be some cards I haven't seen, perhaps.
Okay,
well,
yeah, fair.
You never know.
So you pay your cost during the market phase. This costs $1, $2, $3, $4. You pay it, and then you actually, as part of the included price of getting this card, you're allowed to get some of these components from this little jazz over here. So there's like a little. Is this a cooler or what is this supposed to be?
I think it's basically the fridge.
Looks like a fridge.
Part of the thematic idea of cocktails is that you're thinking of actually like sort of sitting in a bar, you're working with a bar, and the bartender is actually taking your spirits, going to the fridge, getting the juice, getting the bitters, getting the seltzer, getting the umbrella, fashioning the drink, and kind of actually passing it across the bar, sliding it across the bar to you.
And this sarsaparilla. Yeah, okay.
And the image, basically the image on the cocktail, or the image on the cocktail art themselves, is supposed to evoke that kind of a feeling that a bartender has just kind of made and passed you this actual drink.
It looks a bit like the opening of Seinfeld. Yeah, so back here.
A little bit.
Right,
Yeah.
So the number of components that you get depends on the price you pay. So if I pay $1, I get to choose one of these components and just grab it. Any one I want, right?
Anyone you want.
$2, I get 2 things. $3, I get 3 things. $4, I get 4 things from here. And then there's another little bit of jazz going on with these dice. So what happens if people are taking these things, let's say we whittle it down to the point where there are only, at the end of someone's turn, 3 left. What's up?
Right. So basically that triggers a refill because, of course, when there's so little left, we want a refill. This piece on the left is neat as well because basically this is telling you exactly what it's going to refill with.
Oh, so it's predictive, that little bit.
Yeah, so you've got a little bit of an insight of what it's gonna come with, but then you get to do a pretty cool part.
Okay. Well, so let's just pretend that we're filling up this fridge with all the stuff that's on here. We're not going to grab the components; they're in a little baggie elsewhere. But show us the magic shot, the money shot. Here we go. What is it? Yes.
So this, I mean, again, this is a 3D printed prototype. There will be, I mean, if you check out the Luthier campaign, if you hadn't, the
Distilled campaign or the Luthier campaign?
Luthier campaign.
Oh, they mentioned it here. Okay, yeah.
No, just to talk about the quality that you're probably going to be able to expect.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
The piano organ dice tower is probably one of the fanciest components in sort of board game history. So I'm sure when this ships, it'll be
nice.
absolutely very fancy. So
sure,
very cool. So you take the top off.
All right. Oh, what? Oh, I misunderstood. I misunderstood. Sorry about that.
Please.
Okay.
You take the top off. You get to shake it just like you're at the bar.
No, wait a second. This is a little understated. I know for a fact that before this video, you spent hours practicing. What are the routines from what's that Tom Cruise movie?
Cocktail.
No, Top Gun. And okay. Well, if he's being shy, then you shake it up. Do a little
shake
flip.
it up.
Do a little flip. Just give the people a little flip. A little flip of the Yep. Okay, don't do a little flip. That's a bad idea. All right, and then
my career as a bartender is already over.
Were you a bartender once in your? Oh, okay.
No.
Well, it never began. All right, there you go. Shake them up. You got them out there, and then that's predicted for the next time that the thing gets emptied out and we put more stuff on. Cool.
And also as a nice little bonus, because another thing for playtesting, one of the things we found is kind of once it got to that 4 number, everybody was very hesitant to kind of do it because you're like, I don't really want to take the last one. So as a little bonus to be the one who refills it, you get your pick of
from what goes there.
From what goes there.
Got it. Okay.
So if there's so it's a really great way to get an umbrella. I mean, we didn't roll one there, but a really great way to grab something extra. So it's a little bit of incentive to say, I may actually want to reset this. Even though what I want isn't there, I may want to reset it because I'm getting a little extra.
Makes sense to me. Okay, so we figured out how to buy the cocktail cards, and I should mention that you've got 2 spots for cocktails. So let's bop back down to the player board. Let me zoom in a little bit. So you've got 2 spots for them, right? So what happens is, or I'm going to ask you, what happens if I buy one and then I buy a second one, this round or another round, whatever, I clog this up, and then I want to buy a third, what do I do?
Yeah, so you could buy mixers separately. You can always spend $2 to buy 3 mixers. So you're not locked out. You're not locked out of the cocktails phase, but you would not be able to use the river or the market row in order to buy a new one. But at the beginning,
so I'm maxed out at 2. I can't.
You're maxed out at 2, and you can only make one. You can only make 1 cocktail per round.
Oh, and then, even if I make 2 things in like a double washback, I'm only able to do 1 cocktail per.
You're only able to make 1 cocktail per round. Yeah.
So, in your experience, how many cocktails do you find people make generally in a game?
In my experience, between if you're diving into that mechanic, let's say you would want to make between 4 and 5.
4 and 5, and there's 7 rounds.
There's 7 rounds. So typically early on, you don't get as much return, but you want to make at least 4 if you're diving into the cocktails aspect.
Got it. That makes sense. So you should plan for 4.
Talk about why.
Yeah, we will talk about why, but before we do, we're going to take a quick commercial break. No, I don't know. Just the way I said that. Before we do, I want to talk about this icon, which is brand new. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Zoom in. So you can kind of see it down here. So this looks like a little like forklift. What's up with the forklift? Yeah,
so that's a new addition in the cocktails expansion, and I think some of the feedback sometimes is, especially at some lower player counts, is the market can get a bit stale. Right. And I think that's a common complaint in any game with a card with selection. With the river, maybe nothing out there that you like. So what this does is, if you discard anything with the forklift icon, it tells you to load an additional card into the discard or into the truck. Okay, so let's walk through it. So this is the part of the round we're going to start discarding cards, right? So we discard stuff from the market on the right side. We're going to do it with the cocktail row. So I'm discarding this one. It's got a forklift on it. What do I do? You would discard an additional card for the forklift.
So normally I'm only putting 1 in here, and now I'm putting 2 in here, and now these guys slide over.
And you would even do 1 more.
I would do 1 more because it's got a forklift. Yeah. Okay, so this one goes in. So that's really ripping through that river and keeping things fresh.
Yeah, we're keeping things moving. So
got it.
Where you normally would have cleared 1, you clear 3, and now there's a lot more options available to everybody. And the same thing with the premium market.
I would say it's important. Yeah, we'll get to the premium market. Spoiler alert, there are going to be cards that come with this expansion that you put in your regular market that are over and above the cocktail ones. But I wanted to mention, too, having it refreshed a lot is important because of these glass symbols that we alluded to that we're going to explain very shortly. So I buy them in the market phase. I get them on here. At the very last phase, I get to make a cocktail. I have to make the cocktail with the icon matching. So as long as I have, let's say that I made, can we go with the whiskey example? Yes, we can, because this is whiskeyable. So let's say that at some point I put my label at the top of my board and I had made whiskey and I took my prize or I got my points, whatever it is, right? And I have this card. Of course, this would have slidden over. I have this cocktail card that I purchased, and it says you need something with green sugar, and it was aged, right? Green sugar and aged. And so my whiskey counts. So first step is what? Look at this cup icon up here. There's 4 different kinds of cups, right? So this is what, the little fluty glass kind of thing?
This is where my I was never a bartender knowledge is going to be exposed.
Right, we don't
I have no idea what type of cup that is.
We think that's a flute. That's what we were calling it while we were playing. So if you are a pro if you're a pro for some reason at naming glasses, please comment below and let us know exactly what kind of, that's the dumbest call to action I've ever done in my life. So it's a flute. So you're going to take, we have these little, here, I'm going to bring them on camera because they're sort of like at the bottom here, but we have these little screened wooden icons that are in the 4 different glass types. There's that, I think, is that called a snifter, the really short one? I think it is. I'm not even joking. I think it's called a snifter. And that's like a martini glass. That one I know. I don't know what you call the big, long, tall one, but I'm sure this is going to be turned into a raging debate in the comments. So name them glasses. So you're going to take the one that matches the one up here, and you're going to pluck it up, and you're going to stick it boosh on top of the liquor that you use to make this cocktail. Yep. That is step 1. And depending on the price you paid, of course, this is a risk reward thing. If you paid these things, you get this prize. If you paid these things, you get this prize. Those go what? Back to the box? The little ingredient?
They just go back into the general supply. Yeah.
So the big question on my mind and on everybody else's mind is, what the heck are these things? So this is a new icon that we've never seen before.
Brand new mechanic.
Lay it on us. What is that?
This represents your Renown. So in Distilled, you've taken over distillery from a family member. You started from scratch.
Nobody knows you from Adam.
Nobody knows you.
Right.
Nobody knows you at all. It's thematically, you've sort of gone through Distilled. You've played. You've established yourself as a distillery at this point. Now you're trying to build your renown or grow your renown around the world.
Great. I love really being super famous. Yes, tell me more.
By getting your name out there.
So we got a board off to the side that we haven't shown you yet, but yeah, check this out. We're going to zoom in a little bit. Bajouge. So this, I would presume, is the Renown board. So it's upside down. Do-do-do-ba-do-do. I'm doing like, remember the end of Superman in the 1980s when he flies around the world and reverses... No, I didn't see it. Reverses time.
I had one job.
Am I the only nerd here? What's going on?
I had one job.
Okay. That was it. And cut. Right. Back to it. So that's okay. If that happens at your game table, here's a hot tip. Just reverse it. 180... Anyway, here we go. So back into it. So this is a whole map of the world, and one thing again we have to point out, because it's a prototype, these tiles are not seating correctly, and if they were seating correctly, you'd go in here and never be able to pry it out for the life of you unless you were able to grow your nails out. So these are still prototype components. They don't quite fit, and they don't have thumb cutouts, but they're double-sided boards. So these pop in here, and there's a selection of them that you randomize and you pop out. You've seen that because you played board games, hopefully. So the Renown board. So if I made, for example, this cocktail using these ingredients, and there's a 2 on there, then I get 2 Renown. And what does that actually look like? Oh, he's pulling components that we're not even talking about yet. So you got, what the heck are these things?
Yeah, so this is a little board for your Renown discs.
Okay.
And basically these are going to signify you spreading your distillery, becoming more famous around the world.
Oh, okay.
So each Renown you get to pull a disc off.
Okay, so I got 2. Show us how it works.
And then place it on the board.
It's the very first
So the very first one always has to go in the region that your distiller is from.
Got it. So let's look at Vlad over here. Where's he from?
He's Romania.
Okay.
Probably Transylvania. Specifically,
yes.
But
most likely, yes. Odds are. So that's up here.
That means he's in Europe. So you have the ability to place it anywhere you want in Europe, and one of the nice things is if you're the first one there, you get to take the bonus that you cover.
So these are
all of these are nice little, not huge, but reasonable rewards that you might get. Some icons you recognize from the base game. Some are new. Some are new in cocktails. So
got it.
I think the umbrella we've seen. You can also get a
cocktail card.
You can get a cocktail card, which is any of the face-up cards.
Pile of peanuts.
Pile of peanuts. That's a yeast.
That's yeast, right? Is there anything else new?
No. And those are the things. So you would basically 2 Renown. So we could get a yeast, and we could get a dollar just to kind of help our economy going.
Got it. So the next one you place, can that go anywhere? That has to be adjacent.
No, the next one has to be adjacent to it. So. And that maybe wasn't the greatest of placements. So right. Another thing you can do is there are lines that go between the continents. So that would be a really nice spot to go, because that would allow me to expand my Renown into into Africa.
So I can take this part because I know this part well. At the end of the game, you're going to get points for every set of 4, right? So if you're in all 4 continents, you get 3 points. If you've got another one in all 4 continents, you get another 3 points, and another. And we should also mention that if somebody's already there and you desperately need to go there to build your network, these are going to stack, right? So you can just go plop right on top of somebody's there. It doesn't mean that they are not there anymore. Nothing like that, right? You just stack them, so that's cool. Yeah. So we're bopping around. If you're spreading out, you get points. If you manage to get 6 on a single continent at the end of the game, then you get 3. And that also stacks too, right? If I get 6 over here and if I get 6 over here, it's 3 points, 3 points, right? So that's the scoring there. We're missing a little token up here. Let's pretend that it's there. But the other thing that we should look at is there are these little bonuses here that show 2 different continents. See, this one's tied to these 2 continents. This one's tied to these 2 continents. So I think the deal is like this one. If you are in Africa with at least 1 token and you are in the Americas with at least 1 token, then you walk us through the next step. And you have a label that, or you've sold and you're about to put a label down. Then help me out. You fill in the blank. Then what?
Yeah, so once you've spread your renown, you have access to those tokens. So basically what you can do is maybe we'll simulate selling a slightly different drink.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe a nice rum that you've made. What that lets you do is use one of these top spaces, get the nice cover up bonus as well. So there I would have gotten $1, and now I get to pull. And in this case, I'm eligible for Africa and Europe, so I'd be able to pull this off, take my 4 points, and throw that on my board as a label bonus, as opposed to using one of my normal label bonuses.
Right, and I noticed that at least a few of these match existing label bonuses, like purchase a card from the truck. Oh, that's different, at a 4 discount. So they're a little bit different, right? Add a flavor to 1 spirit in your warehouse, that's different. Yeah. And that could be massive points if you're like really high up in the aging thing. You were going to say?
Yeah, just to say some of these are similar. So the $5 is definitely similar. I mean, the points is pretty straightforward, but a lot of them are different and do expand your strategic options off of the normal label placement bonuses, right? One even gives you 2 more renown if you really want to dive in and you're playing the renown game, doing cocktails. It kind of lets you double down on that. So
got it. Well, the other thing I should mention too is if you jump onto the spot that gives you $5 over here, that's cool. But you can't do that for the rest of the game. And this is another opportunity to get that same bonus like a second time in the game. Yeah, exactly. So that totally makes sense. So that is explained. Yeah, we're good with that. We can flip it. I think it's double-sided too, depending on player count.
Yeah, double-sided based on player count, as well as some covering with neutral markers at either 2 players or 4 players, just so that you don't have, just to simulate that there's a bit of competition there.
Yeah, block off some prizes. Yeah, get it. Now, the very last thing that's on the table currently that we'll mention is there's this little looks like an end game thing, and it reminds me a little bit of the bottle display contest that goes on in the base game. But what's this all about?
A little bit. So this is very specific to cocktails, and this is your end game scoring for another reason as to why you're doing cocktails. So one reason to do cocktails that we just saw is you spread your renown, you get those little mini bonuses, you unlock those new labels. This is why you'd be doing cocktails at the end game. So basically what this looks at is the more renown you spread, you start unlocking points.
Right.
And then you would take a look at all of the glass types that you've got over the course of the game.
Up a little bit. I know it's situated right at the very bottom. So yeah, I've got those 3 glasses on my. Like they're going to be over here on the labels.
Assuming you made those 3 cocktails with those 3 different glasses, this is another set collection multiplier. You're right, very similar to bottles. And in this case, I'd get 3 points times 3 different glass types for 9 endgame points.
So you want unique glasses, and there's no way you're going to get 8 glasses. So you're not going to multiply.
You're not. you're only allowed to. That's a great question. You're only allowed to collect one set. Any secondary sets don't score. This is a one-time. You just count your biggest set and you score that.
And just to remind everybody, those are coming from, because it's been a while, the top right of the cocktail cards that you're making. Now, there's one glass type that I didn't mention because I'm a withholding jerk. But check this out. This is the 5th type of glass. It's a tiki cup. And that is wild. So if you're really stuck for getting that set, then you can go find yourself. Those are on the cocktail cards here. There are going to be some that have tiki cups on them. So if you use a tiki cup, bazang, then that's going to fill in the missing one. And even when we played, we were just playing a 2-player game, but there was some fierce competition for the cocktail cards.
There was.
David's, of course, an incredible player because he's played this. How many games of just Distilled have you played? Any flavor?
I think well over 400 at this point.
Where's my water so I can set up a spit take? Yikes! How many times have you played? Just like so people know, if I want to play test a game, how many times have you play tested cocktails from its earliest iteration?
I would say conservatively, probably at least 10 to 15 times.
That's a lot.
Probably more.
Yeah. So the last kind of like component that we're going to talk about, or sort of mechanic we're going to talk about, I'm zooming in here just so we have a place to put them. Yeah, lay them out. So we have, what are these? Customers, clients? Yeah, let's lay them down.
So this is another.
They don't go here.
They don't go here. They'll have their own. They'll have their own spot on the board.
Right.
So these are the collectors. Okay. So this is a brand new mechanic and basically another goal you can try to obtain as you're playing Distilled for some more variety. So your distillery's got more renown. You're more well heard of, and
people want what you got.
Exactly. These are individuals that are actually looking for very specific spirits of a very specific quality. And when you make a spirit, you have the option of selling it to a collector.
I see. So these are rich connoisseurs of what you're creating. I got it. Okay.
Exactly. So and how this is going to work is each collector is going to get a randomly selected end game bonus tile. So these are end game points that you can pursue.
Okay.
And basically you'll get those points for each label that you have.
Got it.
And what they're looking for is a very specific type of drink. So this one wants a silver label drink that's worth at least 11 points.
Well, let's go over to our tasting flight and see if anything fits that. So here's our silver label stuff. 10 points, 10 points, 11 points. There we go. So is it only rum, or does it, if we have other cards in there that are worth points, that counts?
Yeah, other points will count. So this is actually one of the less discerning collectors, let's say, because his point threshold is quite a bit lower. So he'll take probably a little bit of a lesser spirit, where this gentleman on the end is a much more discerning collector. He wants
it's got to be gold. It's got to be 21 points minimum.
Spirit. Yeah, a 21 point gold spirit. I mean, you're looking at 12 points from the base spirit at most. So you're having to add 9 points of extra juice to the
so you gotta have special ingredients in there. You gotta have
special ingredients, special bottles. You gotta age it, things like that.
Got it. Now are these always going to be worth it? Like when you please a client, is the juice worth the squeeze on every single one of them?
So this is really a place where you can really expand on your strategy. So it will be worth it depending on what type of a game you're playing. So for example, if you're going heavily into European spirits, this is 2 points for every European spirit you've done. So,
so you're just racking up points if you get.
So if you have a flight with, say, gin and aquavit, both European spirits, you can make a significant amount of endgame points.
Plus, if you're from Europe and you make your homebrew thing, then that's another one. Is it not? Does it count?
The homebrew doesn't count.
Darn it! I was so close.
Trying
to sound smart, Dave. Just we're gonna edit that out. I'll remember.
But it's a good point. There are specific labels, or there are specific tokens that will come out, that will actually give you points specifically for making your home label countries.
Oh, okay.
Or and your home label distillers. Yeah.
I noticed this guy. This says signature recipe on it. So this is like Will any of them take my signature recipe or just
No,
this guy?
only and these are very specific. So for one, they don't want vodka or moonshine. Period.
Nobody wants the swill.
Nobody's impressed
Okay.
with that. No one.
Right.
No one's coming to get your.
They didn't
whatever
even
you
do.
threw in the still.
We don't even have like a
vodka.
famous. I'm gonna get in trouble. Country and western singer who wants moonshine? No vodka, no moonshine.
Nobody wants vodka or moonshine.
Got it.
You have to make either bronze, silver, gold, or signature recipes,
Right.
and those are all distinct.
Got
So
it.
if this gentleman wants a silver, it has to be a silver recipe. So
Right.
he'll take this lovely pisco that we've made. Basically, what you do.
So this is the point of selling. So you just plunk that down.
So at the point of selling, this is a decision point in the game, which expands your options
okay.
and makes it a bit more interesting. So either you can take one of the normal bonuses you would get from selling a label, or you can, if you qualify, you can decide to sell that to a collector. So you're distinctly foregoing this, and it's an interesting trade-off because all of the existing label bonuses are very much an economy boost, and you're going for the collector for an end game point boost,
Right.
So that's kind of the trade-off. Like, and these are competitive, right? Like once
so
I were
short-term
to
pain for long-term gain kind of idea.
once I were to claim this, and I've got the 1 point per bronze cube. That's mine. And no one else is getting that.
Oh, you took it off, so it's not available
no
anymore.
one else is going to be able to get it. So it can also be a bit of a race to say, looks like everybody's really leaning heavily into bronze recipes or into age recipes. That's going to be a hot ticket item that I might want to compete for.
Got it. And when we played Compete, you did. I think, how many points did you smoke me by? We don't need to say that either. All right, so the last elements, I think we got that. The last elements that we'll talk about this is a little more along the lines of more of the same, but we've got extra cards and we've got extra spirits. Why don't you grab the spirit awards over there and we'll just put those on camera. So there are some brand new spirit awards that play into just the mechanics of the cocktails expansion, so those are going to be in the game. Also, we have some brand new, just like Vlad, we've got some brand new distillers. Pop those guys out. I feel like I'm just barking orders at you, and then shine my shoes. All right, so some new distillers from. Oh, these are these all historically based? Cleopatra the Alchemist. Was Cleopatra an alchemist, or is that somebody I've never heard about? Again, comment section, go for it. All right, and then what else we got? We have new ingredients, so why don't you throw those on there? So these are cool. I made prodigious use of these, and I probably shouldn't have because they hurt my game. But check this out. When you purchase the plums or the coconut, it says you can immediately purchase one other card directly above or below at a $2 discount. So you buy that card, and then you get a discount of, so if something lines up vertically in the market really well, these cards are awesome. Coconut does something very similar, and then quinoa does something similar. Yeah. So those are really cool. Then they add, again, strategic possibilities to the game. And then we have more just market cards. So we've got a stack of ingredients. Throw them on camera. He's fanning them out. He's making them look pretty, like a charcuterie board. We appreciate it. This is all about.
So there's new bottles.
These ones they're working on.
One for each region. Some of them are being worked on. If you were on the Papers and Games Discord, there was a community poll to pick these bottles and to have them selected, so you will see the results of that and what the community actually picked. So that was a really cool thing that was done.
Very cool.
On the Discord, and then also we've got a number of new barrels there as well.
I should mention, it's a minor point, but you do get an extra barrel when you have the extra washback because you're going to need it, right, to make extra stuff.
Yeah, you get an extra metal.
A couple of extra things, right? And then we have both new upgrades and we have modified upgrades. So you've seen this in other expansions of games where just to keep the balance correct, what they do is they make a duplicate of a card that you already have, but then they tweak the language on it so that it does something slightly different. So we have both kinds here with the distillery upgrades. This guy is already in the game. We recognize him from the base game. This is a base game thing already, but they've tweaked it. Now, what have they done? Is it a nerf or is it a buff?
So a little bit of both. So the majority of it is definitely a nerf. So because of the double washbacks, certain cards that worked on Distill became significantly more powerful.
Give us an example. Like, what's one that just broke it?
The one that probably broke it the most was actually this guy, the master blender.
That's the cover girl. She's the woman who's on the front of the box,
and she broke it the most. So basically, still like an extremely powerful card in the base game. You cannot easily, but if you get 3 duplicate labels or 3 sets of duplicate labels, you can get 6 points from her.
Okay.
Because when you add the double washback, you can make up to 10 spirits.
Right.
She was like, starting
more money,
and
more
if you
money.
basically you did it right, you were getting 10 points from her. Plus, she also has a little in-round bonus that says you also gain 1 when selling a spirit
That you already have.
if you already had it from the region.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, you're looking at this single card could have got like 20 points.
Yeah.
So that needed a distinct nerf for sure.
Nerfed. So we won't go through them all, but then we also have brand new distillery upgrades as well. So you're going to get some replacements. So you just go through your deck, you knock out the ones that are in there, and you replace them with these. And then we have stuff like a refrigerator. We got a grocery clerk. You want to pick like one that's your favorite and show us what it does?
So one of them, I think that's my favorite, and I actually did get to play it last night as well, is the sales brochure.
And what does it do?
So what the sales brochure is, it lets you basically manipulate the collector a bit into taking a spirit that they may not otherwise have actually asked for. So you sell them a bit on it, and basically what that lets you do is normally they want a silver recipe.
Yeah.
You can really give them
whatever.
You can really give them any spirit.
So you get to fake the tier. So if they want a gold, you can sell them a bronze. And,
exactly.
Yeah, give them the old sales one too.
And I mean, and any spirit of the required value. So I know we said they didn't want vodka or moonshine. Well, they might be taking it now.
You're taking moonshine.
If you can get a giant, you still have to make the point value. So if you can get a really big hairy vodka, then you can sell it to them.
Very cool.
That is one of my favorites. I tend to like things that, and if you like things that where you can kind of break the rules of the game, this is one of those great cards. And there's a number in here that kind of break the rules.
Love it. What are we missing? We got that new stuff. Of course, you're getting a little, if this is a lot, you're like, oh my gosh, my head is spinning. You, of course, get a little player guide that both talks about how all this bit works, and then it goes into like the end game scoring. So all the glass bonuses we talked about with the Tiki Wild thing and the map bonuses we talked about, all that stuff is all on this card. So don't worry about memorizing what you've seen in this video here today. And then finally, there are personal goals that David is putting out here. New distillery goals?
New personal goals that, of course, directly talk to the things you would do in the expansion set.
Have the most renown in Europe.
Renown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
And this is a neat one too. Basically, this is like the person who absolutely blasted their double washback.
However, be tied for the most. Yeah, so you want to definitely go over 7 on this one. Got it. I'll confess that I had that one when we played, and I did not make good on it. Somebody was cranking out hooch like a master. That, I think, is the extent of everything we have to show you with the... Are there new flavors? There are no new flavors. So tough nuts of that. But we should talk a little bit about the campaign. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, below this video, there's a link that goes to the Kickstarter campaign. If you're wondering, like, how does this all fit in my beautifully produced distilled box? It does not. So don't worry, they've thought about that. They're making a new box from what I understand. So if you go to the campaign, check it out. There's going to be a bigger box. You're going to need a bigger box, more time, bigger table, but such as board games. So don't worry, they have an option for you to be able to fit stuff in. They've got an option if you don't want to do that and you just want cocktails in its own little box. They've got an option if you are brand new to Distilled and you want like everything under the sun. Well, of course, they would love to sell that to you. So if this is your first foray into the world of Distilled, then that's a tier that you can look at. So check out the campaign. Before we wrap it up, I just want to ask if are there any secrets or any behind the scenes things now that we have you here that we can ask you about that nobody else will know? This Knights Around the Table exclusive scoop. You heard it here first. Lay it on me.
Well, I mean, I think...
Make it good, David. No pressure.
Well, there will be a promo pack of cards.
There will be a promo pack of cards.
Will be coming in the campaign.
I heard the number of cards, maybe 20. Is that anything? Is that?
I have heard that as well, and I'm sure based on the things we've seen from Dave, I'm sure they're going to be really cool. So something to check out in the campaign.
Very good. Thank you so much. I have been Ryan. This has been David. We really appreciate you coming and sharing your playtest wisdom about Distilled. Again, we're going to give you one more chance just to close the video with an amazing trick from that Tom Cruise movie, Days of Thunder. And we'll see you back another time on the channel. Check out the campaign. Do a flip, David. No, like you do a flip.
That I can't do either.
Did you just watch that whole thing? Oh, hey, to 100% this video, click the badge to subscribe and then click the bell to get notifications when I've got new stuff.